Welcome to Environmental Coffee House. As you know, I hope you can hear me, whoever might join. I am in Florida at my mom's, and I am in the land of freedom. The land of freedom. But I wanted to try this. All I have is my iPad, my phone. It's not professional. I couldn't really do much with it. I don't know if anybody's going to join. I didn't plan it, but here I am. So I basically, let's see if, all right, I'm live. I'm telling people I'm live. I'm live. I don't know if it's working. I don't know if people will join. But anyway, I'm going to talk about what I want to talk about today. Obviously, I've been worked up. Who hasn't? I wrote a Substack article for hey Chaz, I wrote a Substack article called Denial, and it's my interpretation of the situation in Minneapolis. And if you get a chance, go read it. So, hello, yes, it is the last minute. Can't even set this up as anything really great, but welcome to the land of freedom in Florida. Okay, so what I want to start with, and I don't know, can you guys hear me okay? Hi, Kim, can you hear me okay? Because I have nothing. I'm just looking into an iPad. I don't know if you can hear my phone. I want to start out with the meeting that President Orange Turd had today with the oil companies. I have a video of Darren Wood, and I can't obviously play it. All right, you can hear me good. Good. Hi, Linda. Let's see if you can hear this. I do want to talk about the oil companies, Venezuela, the environmental damage, things I've been thinking about. Everybody's mind right now is on Minneapolis. Rightly so, because mine was yesterday. And like I said, I wrote this, close the door. I wrote my mom's, you want to come in and say hi? I'm live. Come on, my mom's coming in. Come here, Mom. Stand right in front and say hello. She's in her pajamas. She doesn't want to come in. Okay. All right. Oh, she wants to go listen. Okay. Not in here. You can't listen, Mom. You're going to make me a nervous wreck. She has to go.
Oh my God, I don't want to make you.
Okay. All 10 people who are watching right now, because nobody knew I was going live. All right. So this is what I want to talk about. I want to talk about the oil companies because it's a diversion. And hi, Sandy's mom. She doesn't want to come on camera. I don't know why, Mom. You look fine. Anyway, it's a diversion. Nobody knew that. Did anybody know he was meeting with the oil companies today? Right? Well, he did. And let's see if we can hear this. I'm going to see how this works. This is so low tech. Okay, let's see if we can hear this. Wait, I gotta play it. Let me make sure. I guess when you do things at the last minute, low tech, let's see. Okay, come on. Why isn't it playing? Here we go. Well, now it's not playing. Damn it! It was all set up. It's Darren Woods. Hang on. I'll get this to work. Okay.
With respect to Venezuela in particular, we have a very long history in Venezuela. In fact, we first got into Venezuela back
Tell me if you can hear it.
in the 1940s. We've had our assets seized there twice. And so you can imagine to re-enter a third time would require some pretty significant changes from what we've seen here and what is currently the state.
And also, give me a thumbs up for this.
Constructs and frameworks in place today in Venezuela, today it's uninvestable. And so significant changes have to be made to those commercial frameworks, the legal system. There has to be durable investment protections, and there has to be change to the hydrocarbon laws in the country. We're confident that with this administration and President Trump working hand in hand with the Venezuelan government, that those changes can be put in place.
Yeah. Okay. Did you hear that? It's basically, they don't want to go in there. They've lost twice in there because of nationalization. We don't own that country. Donald Trump is delusional. He's living in the 1980s. Yes, that's the Exxon guy, Darren Woods. Basically, towards the end, what they were talking about is the fact that it would be on the taxpayers to do this. That a big company like Exxon, they can't go in there. But really what I want to talk about, which no one is talking about, no one. Let me fix this thing. Okay. I'm trying to get this so it doesn't fall. Sorry about this. It's like, I haven't live streamed on an iPad or anything in a long time. And I don't want the ceiling or the white. What is that? It's not going to stop. Oh, I don't know how to make this stay. Okay, there we are. All right, now we listened to Darren Woods. And I'm going to read you something. So I did a Google search, and I've got to pull it up. What kind of environmental damage? It's probably AI shit. Like I said, I'm doing this at the end. If U.S. oil companies industrialize Venezuela, significant environmental damage is likely, including increased oil spills, leaks from aging infrastructure, greater methane and CO2 emissions, intensified deforestation and habitat destruction, severe water pollution in vital ecosystems like Lake Maracaibo and the Orinoco Delta, and further stress on already fragile environments due to intensive processing, threatening biodiversity and local communities. A rapid push for output often overlooks pollution controls, compounding existing ecological crises. So I guess it's from a bunch of different resources that Google put this up. So they talk about the specific environmental impacts. Oil spills and contamination, poorly maintained pipeline facilities, combined with increased extraction, heighten the risk of major spills, contaminating slow-moving rivers, wetlands, and coastal areas like Morrocoy National Park, devastating marine life and coral reefs. I mean, nobody's talking about this. The water pollution, deforestation, the habitat destruction, climate change, air pollution, and everything. And they're talking about a rush to boost production, prioritizes volume over environmental protection. Who's talking about this? Everybody gives a shit about how much it'll cost, okay? So, of course that's true, because American taxpayers are going to have to fund this, because the billionaire oil companies that have billions of dollars don't want to spend the money. It wasn't planned well. It was ridiculous. They took Maduro out. He's a creep. But this is not our country. This is not. Regime change wars are suck ass. This is wrong. But am I the only one talking about the fact that this is such a bad idea from the perspective of our climate or ecological destruction? Why does no one care these days? Why? Nobody does. And thank you, I look well and rested. Okay. All right, fine. But why does no one care? Because no one does give a shit. No one gives a shit. So this guy, Orange Turd, has said these things. I don't know if anybody ever saw the clips. Somebody made a thing with all of his clips talking about, we're going to go in and take the oil. I wish I had made that clip. We're going to go in and take the oil. We're going to go in and take the oil. You know, every year I would go and take the oil. I would steal the oil. He is living in the fucking 1980s, and it's delusional. And when he's in this meeting with these people, literally, Marco Rubio gives him a note. I don't know where that is. I'm looking for my bookmarks. Marco Rubio gives him a note, and the idiot takes it and reads it out loud. It said, go back to Chevron. So he's sitting there reading the note that was supposed to be private from Marco Rubio, because of course he's wandering around. Why are people listening to this guy? What's going to do? What happens in this country? It's a fucking year already. And then he's going to do this. I understand. You say I know nothing about the history about Venezuela and the U.S. history. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about history tonight. I'm talking about the environmental damage of oil. I'm talking about climate. I'm talking about the climate crisis, okay? I'm not prepared to do a show on history. And if I'm going to do a show on history, of course, I'm going to bring someone on who can do this, all right? So I'm not fighting about that. I'm simply talking about the oil companies are talking about this as if they are looking at this like it's a crazy idea. But I just read to you about the environmental damage. I mean, you want to fight with me in my chat, fine. I'm not talking about the history. I'm not lying. I'm not equipped, but I would love to bring somebody. So you think the climate will change due to environmental pollution? It's already. But it's more than that. Venezuela is a beautiful country. But where the oil is underground, there's a lot of biodiversity, a lot of beauty. Nobody talks about Overshoot. Nobody talks about the fact that the environmental destruction will happen. Yeah, we have a troll. Fine. You know what? You don't like the troll? I got a moderator. Get rid of the troll. Okay, there we go. So, but nobody talks about this. Nobody talks about the beautiful biodiversity of the country and the kind of oil that's underneath there, the environmental stuff, and yeah, the resulting climate pollution. Yes, it is CO2 pollution if that's how we want to look at it, because it is pollution. But we are in something called Overshoot, okay? According to Johann Rockstrom of Potsdam in Germany, we have overshot, 7 of the 9 planetary boundaries. And these are just putting the nails in the coffin of humanity. No, I don't think you're a troll. I'm saying you're okay, just because you don't like what someone is saying. I didn't say I didn't like it. You're asking me to talk about history. That's not what I'm coming on here for. I'm talking about the environment. And you're somebody new. So obviously, if you want to stick around, learn what we do. That's all. That's really all I'm talking about. The problem that nobody talks about it. The oil companies, they know. That was the CEO of Exxon, Darren Woods. Darren Woods works for a company that absolutely knew what was happening. How long ago? They knew about this, all right? They knew about this. But Darren, if you look at the commercial constructs, frameworks in place in Venezuela today, it's uninvestable. Significant changes have to be made to these frameworks. The legal system, there has to be durable investment protections and change to the hydrocarbon laws. I didn't even have time to look up what their hydrocarbon laws are, but I'm assuming that the change to the hydrocarbon laws is to say, okay, we can screw up the environment all we want. And so the President of the United States, who I have absolutely no respect for, ever, doesn't give a shit. Because as I have said, the man is, the only natural world he's ever seen is Ivana's grave at Bedminster and a golf course, and that's AstroTurf, okay? And yes, Linda says that I can't show your comments because I'm not on eCam, but that would be exactly what Exxon would want. All of them would want it. And the smaller oil companies, and my mother had watched something and she was talking to me about it. She said the smaller oil companies, they would say, okay, before the big ones, we might go in, but bankroll the whole thing. Bankroll the whole thing. Now, I am in Florida. I'm streaming from a guest bedroom at my mother's house in Florida. And I have been driving around Florida. I got a ride around Florida. Now, Florida, I call the crane state and not the bird. and I look at the destruction of Florida. Everywhere concrete is being built, everywhere something's going up. There's cranes all over the city. All of this land is for sale. All of this beautiful ecosystem. It was a paradise in Florida. It is being paved over. They don't give a shit here. You can't even say the words climate change here. And so the same thing will then happen in Venezuela. It will do nothing for people. It will do nothing for Americans because the tax money, well, that'll come from us because we're funding this whole regime change anyway, right? We're funding that. And so I'm making the comparison of the destruction of Florida, and now we want to go into Venezuela and destroy that country even more. That's what this is about. You all got to stop paying taxes. Well, I've had a federal tax plan for years. Someone put a meme saying that ice is as useful as having taste buds on your asshole. Well, if you went to Substack and you read my article called Denial on that, I said my piece. And my 91-year-old mother sat there and she was writing it with me and helping me edit and all that. And how has Florida been destroyed? Florida's being destroyed. It is being overbuilt. Housing developments going up everywhere where they could do something different in their planning. It's obvious. I just drove through everything today in Central Florida, all over, where there were once farms, where there were once orange groves. It's all being developed. Where is the wildlife going? It's called overshoot. Too many people overshooting the limits. And it's hard to sell property here, yet they're building like crazy. So I don't have to answer, to fall into this. It is really sad. And yes, the insurance for Florida is difficult. And a lot of people are having problems, but yet it's not stopping. I'm seeing strip malls in places, the beautiful trees, the cypress trees. I was taken to a sawmill. Somebody took me to a sawmill they had to go there, and it's a ecological nightmare. They go in and they just wipe out the cypress bogs or the bogs, It's just so sad. But no one talks about this stuff. No one talks about it. You can't even say that in Florida. Can't say climate change. You can't talk about the ecological devastation everywhere you turn here. And I know it's been like this for many, many years. It's been like this for 40, 50 years. Maybe even since the early 1900s. But it's out of control. I'm here. I drove around. I see it. What once was like old Florida, some ranches. There's maybe a few ranches left, but you don't see it. They can't build it up fast enough because everybody's moving to Florida. I don't know who's moving to Florida. Who can afford those? You know how much those condos are? Who's buying all the condos that are $2 million? Who's buying them? Who's speculating? They're foreign investors, but as sure as shit as in Canada, they're getting the fuck out of here faster than you can shake a stick after the last year. Canadians aren't coming here. Why would they? Their country's being threatened. And yes, insurance costs are crazy because, as I discussed in my last actual live stream, the insurance companies are pulling out of certain places because of the risk. The reinsurers don't want to insure the insurance companies. It's a big mess. It really is. It's a big mess. But I'm glad you're all with me. So I really wanted to talk about that because I'm sick and tired of the fact that and it's always about the money. I mean, yeah, as a United States citizen and a taxpayer, okay, it's like, okay, I can say, I'm going to bitch. Hey, it sucks. We don't want to pay for all this shit. We don't want to pay for the regime change wars. We don't want to pay to go to Greenland. We live in the Moronostine of insanity, okay? Insanity. And yeah, I'm on fire because this shit's crazy. Killing Americans in the street. Again, I wrote about that on my Substack. You know, I do have to say one thing about Florida. I didn't see too many Trump signs or flags or any of that shit. I've been all over the last few days. So, and I'm not a native Floridian. No, I don't even live here. But I'm down here visiting and I'm looking at things. Though noticing from, time to time, year to year, development, gross domestic product, growth. It's unsustainable. It's not sustainable. And it's just so sad to see what's happening here. It really is. Every time I come to this state, I see more cranes, more building. My mother doesn't even know who the hell's buying all these things, My mother doesn't even know who's buying all of these condos and what are they building it for? Because it's not affordable housing. None of it's affordable housing. No. And today, passed by this house, kind of way in the boonies, and there was a bunch of people working on a roof. And the person, my friend that I was with, said, "Oh, it looks like a Mexican group." I'm like, "Well, where's ICE? Where's ICE? Why aren't they checking them?" Which is a whole other issue, because if you think that, especially like in Texas, when I was in Texas, who's mowing their fucking lawns now? And yeah, I'm on fire because it's just kind of crazy. A lot of it is. So I wanted to cover that. I wanted to cover the meeting that El Presidente Drumpf had with the oil executives, and that the fact that no one talks about the ramifications of what would happen. Okay, Jim says the oceans have absorbed another 23 zettajoules of heat. Yeah. So let's just drill for more oil and unsustainably horrible, dirty, disgusting oil, which is why it's still in the ground. Which is why, even though it's nationalized in Venezuela, why they've never done it. And do you think they want their country destroyed ecologically? This is what is the big problem. The big problem, in my book, my issue with all of it. All right, so Florida, Venezuela, destroying everything. It's sad. It's really sad. And hello, Darlene. Okay, I actually didn't know I could see. All right, so I had a bunch of things. I did have things on bookmarks, but I don't know if I want to go on to the Minneapolis, because I covered Minneapolis in my Substack, and I just everything you own comes from oil. Right, but it's not sustainable. So whoever's in this audience that doesn't know this channel, we know this. Industrialized civilization started the whole feedback loop of destruction. Do you understand that? Nope. Because if you have not studied anything about climate or science or understand that doesn't matter that everything we own comes from oil. Because what has oil done? I'm probably wearing a goddamn shirt that has oil fibers. You think I don't know this? You think we don't know this? We know this. Do you think that any amount of my bitching is going to stop any of this? We are putting the nails in the coffin of humanity every fucking day, right? And yes, I am on fire tonight because I have been seeing all this stuff. I have been watching ICE agents who are goddamn Nazis or whoever they are. They're not trained well enough. You don't do what this guy did. These girls can adjust. All they were doing was backing up. The news is lying to everybody. Fox News, right-wing news. It's such bullshit. I cannot believe what I'm witnessing in 1 year. What I am witnessing. But really, it's been 10 years for me that I've been studying all this. And the people in my audience that are in that chat, who's right now, are environmentalists and scientists. A lot of us know, no matter what the efforts we do, it's probably too late to salvage, there's not going to be another 500 years of humanity. There isn't. First of all, there's not enough room on the planet. And if we keep overpopulating, oh, that's even better. Let's just squeeze more people in. I love that. Oh yeah, we could fit 10 billion people. We just have to, we have plenty of land. Okay, so where do you grow the food? And what happens? What happens when droughts are striking and fires and all that? Where are you going to grow the food for all these people? Where's all the wildlife in Florida even actually going? What's happening? Where are they going? Because they're not going to have any room. They're going to be extinct. Good, kid. Get rid of these people. They obviously don't know anything about what we do here. And they want to needle me. Because I came on like this at the last minute with no planning. Who knows if I'll even leave this up? I don't know. Hi, Oliver. It's good to see you guys. It really is. I mean, I decided to do this at the last minute. So, like I said, I had a couple of things, and but. I mean, we all know, most of us are watching and seeing social media. We all know that this...
India, Pakistan was ready to go.
Listen to this fucking guy. Just listen to him. Listen to him.
Let me ask you about Maria Corina Machado.
I'm going to get the Nobel Prize. And I've solved all these wars.
Okay, she won the Nobel Peace Prize. When she accepted that Peace Prize, she dedicated it to you. She said to me this week,
are we
TV and radio,
insane?
That she wants to give the Nobel Prize, her Nobel Peace Prize, to you.
Oh my God!
For liberating her country.
For liberating her country. They put I can't even listen to it. They put the vice president. The vice president is in charge. So liberating. What did we liberate? We're going to liberate Venezuelans from their beautiful natural environment. That's what we're liberating from. Hi, Jake. Hi, T-Bone. Hi, all of you. But you want to listen? I don't want to listen to him. I mean, he lies. All the wars he solved, he's delusional. But then, you know what? He goes, and we got J.D. Vance, who is patently lying about the gal in Renee. Patently lying. Patently lying. They're all lying. I saw an article from Fox, and they twisted every single thing that we saw with our eyes. Of course, everybody's talking about 1984. Because they're splitting up, they want to split up the world, the oligarchs. But it's not just going to be three, because you have to remember, there's Saudi Arabia, they're billionaires, and there's Xi, and there's Putin, and there's Orange Turd. We have crossed the Rubicon, babies. We have crossed the Rubicon. We are going through all the tipping points, everything. Yeah, the party told you to reject the evidence of your eyes and ears. It was their final, most essential command. And we're living it every goddamn day. And I'm sitting here with my 91-year-old mother, who has lived through so much, and she is as incredulous as I am. We both are just like, oh my fucking God. What's happened in 1 week? Every single goddamn day. Every day. It gets worse. There's another one. Here's another thing. So I picked up this article, and I don't know where it is exactly. I'm not sure. I think I posted it. Let me see where I posted it. It's about pesticides. Okay, so it just gets worse and worse and worse. Pesticides now, the EPA, there's 2 pesticides, and I actually don't know where I posted it. Hang on. It's not like I have so much to do. I'm sitting here. All right, here it is. It was in the Hill, actually. Some of Trump's assaults on air and water are reversible. Not these 2. Okay, assaults. This one, butyric and isocyclosuram may never be household names, but they're likely to contribute to chemical contamination, water, and food consumed in many millions of households for generations to come. Generations to come, buddies. Because again, every single thing that this administration does is to kill something. You ever notice that? To kill something. So now it's going to be, okay, they're not household names, but they're going to kill us. Announcing its approval of the 2 chemicals used on everything from golf courses and ornamental plants to romaine lettuce, tomatoes, and soybeans. I will always grow my own food. The EPA parroted the industry claims about the pesticides' safety. Of course they did! EPA did not mention that according to the most widely accepted scientific standard, both pesticides are long-lasting, forever chemicals, otherwise referred to as PFAS. Substances known to pollute the waterways for decades or centuries after they're applied. Every single day. Every single day. Everything in the United States is destructive. Everything in the United States is about death. And so that's it. You know, I love when the orange says, I want clean water and clean air. What the hell does he know about it? I don't think he even knows what these organizations are doing. But this was the EPA reported, which has been taken over, the EPA is destroyed, stating that they were not PFAS according to its regulatory definition. But when measured by the best available science, which they've kind of forgotten about in the United States. Science? What's that? What is that? Oh my. Okay, it was developed. The definition of PFAS is based on what fluorinated structures make a chemical persistent or long-lasting. It was developed transparently by dozens of scientists around the world, is adopted by most U.S. states that regulate PFAS, and is endorsed by hundreds of PFAS researchers. But the science-based definition, if a chemical includes a single fully fluorinated carbon, as both newly approved pesticides do, it's a PFAS. It's a PFAS! It's only the beginning of the administration's push to unleash more PFAS pesticides across the United States. I mean, it's every single fucking day. Every day. Every day. Hundreds of studies have documented the many dangers of PFAS. What do you think? I'm not even going to read the rest of it, but there's peer-reviewed science. It's in the Hill. I don't know if you can say it. It's in the Hill if you want to read it. In the Hill, you know? But nobody's talking about this shit because the everyday distractions, and again, all these distractions, all of these are distractions from the Epstein file, which, okay, this is an environmental channel. You know, you talk about the earth. Well, guess what? The whole Epstein thing and the billionaire class are destroying the planet exponentially. And so if you understand what these billionaires and what these oligarchs have been doing, they have been raping human beings and young adolescents and abusing them, just like they are raping and abusing the planet. Yep, the planet. So let's put more nails. Let's put more nails in that coffin of humanity, why don't we? Every single day. So let's see what you guys are saying while I'm getting myself all worked up. We went out to eat and I had coffee. Yeah, Poppy skipped the news. Every day I skip the news for the last couple of days. It's just because every day it gets worse. Kim said Buddhist monks are walking from Texas to D.C. for peace. Well, look at that. It's good to see all of you here. Yeah, I know Delene says all roads lead back to the nuclear industry, probably in some way or another. I know I'm going to have Kevin Blanchard, I promise you, when I get home. But when I get home, I have a big project. I'm working on the data center project where I live, and I've got people that are now going to work with me. I have a whole plan. And so that's local, because I don't believe that anything else but local action can really work. We can't fight these oligarchs the way we think, but you start locally. You start with something. You start with cleaning up something. You start with something that is, I'm for, not for geoengineering, but I'm for growing shit, greening things, regrowing trees, whatever, locally. But keeping data centers out where I live is definitely a big project on my mind, and I've got plans. So, all right. Hello, Robert Forsyth. I look up to the sky and do not recognize the normal one that my memory recalls. Yeah. And I'm just as guilty as everybody else. I freaking flew here. I didn't want to. She lives here. I can't drive down the, from all the way. I couldn't do it. I don't like it. I did take videos out of the window, though. I do that. I don't like it. I don't want to. And this is another thing about the age we live in. 50 years ago, maybe 60 years ago, families stayed in the same community. I met a person here that owns the sawmill locally, and he's never seen snow. He's lived on the same property his whole life. He's doing his father's business. I talked about it earlier. It's a horribly unsustainable, terribly planet-eating business. Terrible. I showed him videos of my place. I said, now you can tell people you saw snow. I mean, the guy was like completely just not somebody that would ever understand our chat or our channel. I'm telling you right now. Sandy, please tell me that's a real cat. No, it isn't, Foggy. It's not. It's not. My mother doesn't have cats. I have cats, but I've got a house sitter with my cats. While I was away, this is another thing. So I've got cameras because I am a security-minded person. You fuck with me, you're going to get hurt. That's it. Plain and simple. So I've got cameras, and I turn on the camera just to see what was going on in the kitchen. And I knew the house sitter wasn't there. I see my black cat, and my white cat. I kind of knew something was going on with this cat. I turned on the camera just in time to catch him peeing in the sink, in the kitchen sink, peeing in the kitchen sink. And before I left, he kind of was like, he peed in front of me somewhere else. And so I write to the house, my house sitter, and I said, can you get to the vet? I cannot wait a week for this cat to take the cat to the vet. I'm like, I know he's got a UTI, and that really could kill them. Well, you want to know something? My girlfriend was in the town where the vet is. I called the vet. We got the antibiotics. We got the methagel. You put it on the cat. This cat loves to eat. So the cat thinks it's food, licks it off his paw. So he's getting better. It all worked out beautifully. If I had not turned on that camera to look and catch him pissing in the kitchen sink before he climbed up on the window to look at the birds, I might have not known. And everything fell into place beautifully. He's being medicated and he won't get sick. He's 2.5 years old. He's a boy. But that's a good story, That's a good story of one of my kitty cats. But no, my mother has no live cats. She wants to visit me, and she can definitely visit. And yes, it's a fake. Who said that, Kim? Yeah, it's a fake. It's fake. All right, so I'm glad I did this tonight. I'm glad I did it tonight. And I'm standing up, which feels really pretty good. Standing up, you feel like an orator. You feel like you can just really just do it, But it's pretty good. But I have been really triggered by the shit. But Minneapolis triggered me because the last statement of my Substack was about George Floyd, Rodney King, and a white woman. Scenes of George Floyd, Rodney King, and a white woman. I mean, it now is they're killing us just because you're sitting there being a little obnoxious because the little pussy snowflake, he didn't like that the girl stood there and said, all right, big boy. I would have done the same thing, but I would have driven away too because these fuckers are scary and they are Nazis. And Jade, who is it that said, some friend of mine's son who is completely clueless was sitting there, well, they're calling law enforcement Nazis and Gestapo, and I had to explain the difference between the fact that, okay, sheriff's departments and police and state troopers possibly are not ICE. And ICE are not your regular everyday law enforcement. They're supposed to be just for immigration. They are terrorizing people, all right? So it's got, again, everything is about death. It's all about death. Oh, Status Quo is live? Yeah, well, they do a great job. And they're always, I'm very proud of Jordan Cheriton, what he's done. And hi, Foggy. So, all right, so I pretty much, I have, Carrie's saying Renee was a lesbian, oh no. They're hypocrites because Scott Besson is a gay man. What is he, the Secretary of the Treasury? He's another scumbag liar. He's married to a guy that has 2 kids. So, do they ever say anything about that? But they'll be the first to put down the LGBTQ community. And then you watch the IHIP girls, Jennifer and Pumps, and they're always talking about Grindr going down whenever there's like a right-wing or Republican thing. They've got some moxie. The ICE guy was watching his phone. Well, you know why? He's got his phone. They got their gun. They have been given the directive to document everything to make it, to try to get the public opinion on their side so that they can prove their fake, phony bullshit claims that they're being hurt and assaulted. What a bunch of pussies. Yeah, what a bunch of pussies. Such babies. Nobody's assaulting them. She wasn't going to run them over. It's so clear. Even the goddamn never-Trumpers bulwark, I happen to like Tim Miller, was on a rant about how this is such bullshit. And then J.D. Vance gets on and lies, and the president lies. Oh my God. My mother and I are going, I feel so sorry that she's 91 and this is what she's fucking got to see. After she lived through witnessing everything she's seen every decade, and this is the shit, this is the end of it that she has to see at that age, that our country is fucked in every single which way. Worse than ever. I mean, Kent State was horrible. We have seen the civil rights movement. We saw Jim Crow. We have seen horrible things in the United States. We've watched the hangings of black people. We have watched, it is just a crescendo of we are so fucked. A crescendo. Is the doomer in me coming out? Oh, you're goddamn right. Crescendo. Nails. In the coffin. Yeah. And you're right. There was a doctor on the scene. They denied him. They friggin' threatened the doctor. This is what we're living in. And they're taking it out on Minnesota because of supposed Somali fraud. I can't talk about that. Again, haven't looked at the whole story. I'm not researched enough on it. If I'm not researched enough on something, I'm not going to talk about it. But because I am researched enough on the planetary boundaries and tipping points and AMOC and the Amazon and the oil and CO2 and global warming and that we've passed 1.5 several times and the parts per million of carbon in the atmosphere, we are in the era of the coffin. There we are. So what are we going to do? We're going to work locally. We're going to listen, those of you who don't want to, I don't care. If you don't, you don't. You can't. I am. As much as I hurt, because let me tell you, the last 6 months of my life was absolutely horrible. I lied a lot, didn't tell you how bad I was. I was so sick. I had bone pain to the point where I was telling myself, this is what my life is. I want to live like this. And I would walk around the house going, I hate my life. I hate my life. Well, all of a sudden now, I'm starting to feel better. And the bone pain is gone. Whatever the treatments are is happening. I'm off one medicine, which made me get fat. So hopefully I'll get that together. But my point is, when you give up, nothing good happens. Nothing good happens to give up. I mean, I could sit here and say, we are putting the nails in the coffin, but I'm not giving up. Even though I know what the bigger picture is. I know the bigger picture is pretty bleak. But we are going to do what we are going to do. I'm going to fight data centers, and I'm going to counteract. Instead of saying no to data centers, I'm going to say, hey, why don't we become the industrial hemp center of New York? You know, we don't want something bad, but let's bring something good in. You worried about jobs? We've got farms. Let's work on it. Let's learn how we can do this. You want jobs? Everybody bitches, well, we can't process the industrial hemp. Let's look for a way to do it. And let's power those hemp, those factories that might be built small, make them small, power them with wind, solar. Yeah, I know the mining sucks. I know, okay? But we are still living here. So we need to find the best ways to do things, right? And that is not drilling the goddamn shit out of Venezuela and bringing that crappy oil over at taxpayer expense in 20 or 30 years. When the fucking orange turd is going to be dead anyway. I said it. There you go. No threatening. I'm not threatening. Somebody asked me today on one of my things, are you scared of NSPM-7? Are you scared of whatever? Do I look scared? I've lived too long. I'm old. I'm not scared. What the fuck do I have to be scared of? I have lived a life where I went to hell and back many times. No fear. I don't like flying, but I'm not, you know, if my time is up, my time is up. It is what it is. Learn the old ways. It's going to come in handy. That's right. And what I said, now is the time I prepped for, and I made that video. You're damn right. My mother lives in a nice house, and I'm really grateful she can, you know. But I'm using up my preps. I'm doing that. She treated me to nails. I've already told you all about my nails and how it stops me. That's therapeutic. Yeah, go ahead and lie to myself. Let's see. We walk away from fascism. We walk toward a free America. We fight for a future that belongs to all of us. Everybody in, nobody out. There you go. I like it. No matter what the big picture is, no matter how fucked we are. You're going to sit back and do nothing? Are we going to be spectators? Like the people in Nazi Germany that listened to the propaganda and didn't say anything about their neighbors? That's what we're fighting for in the United States against ICE. I've been watching tons of Holocaust survivor videos, and I told you I was going to do that show. And every time I watch one of those videos, they're from the 80s and 90s, and they're all dead, but they're all documented. These people say, never again. Never again. But they don't mean never again just for Jewish people. They mean never again should anything like this happen for anyone. They're all rolling over their graves seeing what Israel has done to Gaza. They meant never again for anyone. But humanity is a flawed species. We are warring motherfuckers. We are killers. And that's just the way it is. But there's a lot of lovers right here. All of you that are with me, you're all lovers. You all know what's going on because you're here with me. Tiny, little, insignificant, little tiny piece of the world YouTube channel. They can't even get 5,000 subscribers because, face it, I don't have Botox. I don't make myself look, I don't have Mar-a-Lago face. That's for goddamn sure. Yep, Jim, we have to fight and take back our country. To not do so is disrespect the sacrifices of all that fought against fascism 80 plus years ago, and those who fought for freedom and rights. Yes, And that's why I do what I do. That's why no matter how lousy I feel, which is a lot, which I told you I'm getting better, how fucking lousy I feel, and I was a very sick person this year, how lousy I feel, there's always something to do. And I already have people that can't wait for me to get back because we're going to be working on this project. We're working on this project in our county to keep our county not having data centers. And that's why I'm really trying to learn and not use AI, when it pops up. And I had my own little artificial intelligence, but she's 91 years old and she's real intelligence. And when I was writing, it took me about 4 hours. I got up early to write that for Substack because I couldn't stop thinking about it. And my mom was out there working with me and working on the tenses, and it was kind of cool. So enjoy it while it's still here. I'm having to water my beautiful tulip tree with city water now because of drought for over 2 years. 2 years. My God. We had, hi Susan, hi, hello everybody. It's all one big fucking theater and everybody's fighting over the front row seats. Well, you know why. Yeah, exactly. Oh my God. Oh, who's there? Is that Benny Loco? Hi, Benny Loco. Yay. Good friend. Benny Loco, progressive, does great work, works with a couple of other channels. This is spectacular. Well, I'm almost an hour. And I can't believe I did this. I don't think I can edit or do anything on the iPad. I don't even think I can put a thumbnail in. Who cares? It's really not about views and all that. It's about the message. It's about how to talk. It's about people recognizing. But today, all the other news obfuscated the fact that the artist was meeting with the oil executives, and that the bottom line is fleece Americans and destroy Venezuela. Basically. Okay, so I'm going to end with my tick, 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 tick. Nails in the coffin. But, you know what? You know what a hammer looks like? You know what the other end of the hammer looks like? You pull those, when you have to pull a nail in that's down by accident, a little bit too tight, let's pull those nails out. One county, one little city, one little organized protest, one little activist action. Let's pull those nails out of that coffin, little by little, with that hammer, one at a time. How's that? Because they're not sealed shut yet. There you go. Take those nails out. Thank you for coming. I feel really good. I think I got a lot of exercise in the room. I kind of like standing up doing these. So I'm thinking maybe when I got home, I'm going to change my shit around in the office a little bit because this feels good. My back doesn't hurt. I kind of like it. And this is who I am. So I want to thank all of you, T-Bone and Alex. And Alex, I'll try to listen tomorrow. We have things to do, but I'm going to turn my mom on to the Climate Crisis Club so she can hear people from around the world. My mother was a world traveler. They have been everywhere. My parents have been everywhere. My father is deceased. He's passed. And they went everywhere, and I lived vicariously through them. And I am who I am because I have an insanely phenomenal mom. I'm grateful. I'm a very grateful and humble person, by the way. Very grateful, very humble, and really very lucky in life. I may suffer, but I'm not a victim. Because the victim mentality sucks. I was already married to that. You don't want to be a victim. Being a victim sucks. You fight. And I fought. I fought my whole life. How many of you had? Probably a lot of you. Stand up and fight. Lines have been crossed. I feel like we have to do something. And even if it's me in my little data center, keeping it out of the county, because I think right now, because of my project, I'm not going to go to protests personally. Because I don't want to be seen. I want to be credible in this project. I want to be the professional bringing the right data and then the right information about what we can do. Thank you, Sandy Mom. You got a great daughter. I got a great mom. I love you guys. I have a very nice bedroom here. but I will be going home on Monday to my little kitties and back to my grind. I really like writing on Substack. I'm enjoying writing. I'll miss my mom. It was kind of fun collaborating with her. It's just, it was pretty cool. No announces no age restrictions for ice. What are they going to bring in? 14-year-olds? I mean, it just keeps getting worse. I love you, Susan. Yeah, the warm weather's pretty good. I don't know if that's what's helping with my pain, Susan. You were at my house. You know what? I'm not like I was then. I think that surgery I did might be helping getting rid of the toxins in my body. So yeah. All right. All right. It is 55 minutes and 16 seconds. Anybody have anything they want to bring up while I'm here? This isn't that bad. I mean, I know I'm coming closer and farther away and, moving, and I could do a whole, like the old days. Okay, kick, punch. When I took body combat, which was a mixed martial arts class, which I really loved at the time. I couldn't do that now. I'm too broken. But I'm really glad to see all of you. Thank you. What do you mean you're shadow banned, Keith? From me? It's great to see you, Jake. Wednesday night, we'll be together. Yep. So let's get in shape. Let's get in emotional shape for 2026. We need to be emotional shape and as good a physical shape as we can, and punch, and kick, and do what we can. All right? Yeah. All right. And pull those nails out. Peace. I have no idea how to shut this off. I love you guys. Peace out, baby. Tomorrow, climate crisis, 11 o'clock a.m. And thank you. I love you. I love you all. We got it. We got this.